Hello dear students, in the last video we have seen the bonding representation of the organic compound, and today we are going to study the next part from your syllabus, that is nomenclature of organic compound. Basically, nomenclature of the organic compound mainly are two types. One is the trivial system, or also it is called common system, and second one is there, that is called IUPAC system. What is the full form of IUPAC? IUPAC stands for International Union Pure and Applied Chemistry. So whatever the trivial system or common system is there, this system, it is the oldest system, and in the trivial system the names were given according to the scientist's interest or source from which they were obtained. For example, citric acid is obtained from citrus fruits. Acetic acid is obtained from vinegar, but vinegar also it is obtained from acetum, and acetum it is a Greek word, so that's why the name of the organic compound given as a acetic acid. Next, formic acid. Formic acid, it is obtained from red ants. Red ants means formicus, and due to formicus as the Greek word, the name for that acid is given as formic acid. Means in this common system or trivial system, the name of the organic compound is given based on the scientist origin or source of origin which they were obtained, or according to the scientist's interest. The second type is the IUPAC system. As I said, IUPAC is International Union Pure and Applied Chemistry. This is the system, modern system or latest system which is accepted by the IUPAC. In this system, the name of the organic compound are given related to their structure, and in the IUPAC system, the name consists of mainly three parts: root word, prefix, and suffix. Means, if you want to give the IUPAC name, suppose if you prepared one of the compound and if you want to give the correct IUPAC name, then you have to follow these three parts, three distinct parts: root word, prefix, and suffix. So let's study what is the role of the root word, prefix, and suffix in the IUPAC system. So here, whatever the root word is there, this root word, it indicates the number of carbon atoms present in the system. Whatever the root word is there, some books they are mentioned as the word root. Root word indicates number of carbon atoms present in the system. I said system. System may be open chain or maybe closed chain. And depending upon the number of present of carbon atoms, you have to do the root word. For example, suppose I write here number of carbon atoms, and root word. Suppose the system containing only one carbon atom, then root word you have to write as a meat. If the system contains two carbon atoms, you have to write eth. If the system containing three carbon atoms, you have to write as a pro. If it is having four carbon atoms, you have to write as a bute. If it is having a five carbon atoms, you have to write as pent. If it is having six carbon atoms, you have to write as a X. If it is having seven carbon atoms, you have to write as a het. If it is having 8 carbon atoms, you have to write as a oct. If it is having 9 carbon atom systems, root word will be non. If it is having a 10 carbon atom, then you have to write dec. If it is 11, undec. And in the system, if it is having a 12 carbon atoms, you have to write as a dodex. Means whatever the root word is there, this root word it gives information regarding the number of carbon atoms present in the system, and depending upon the number of carbon atoms, the root word is given likewise. The next important part is the prefix. So what is the role of prefix in the IUPAC nomenclature? Prefix is added before the root word. Prefix is added before the root word. Prefix mainly are two types: primary prefix and secondary prefix. Prefix are two types. One is the primary prefix and second one, that is a secondary prefix. Then what is the role of the primary prefix in the IUPAC system? In the IUPAC system, primary prefix it gives information regarding the cyclic compound. What do you mean by cyclic compound? As you know that cyclocompound or cyclic compound are those compounds where in that system all the carbon atoms are linked or bonded in a closed chain manner or a ring-like manner. That is called cyclic compound. And such compound, if it is present, then primary prefix it gives idea regarding the cyclic nature. And if the compound, if it is having a cyclic nature, then you have to use as a primary prefix as a cyclo. So primary prefix it gives idea regarding the cyclic nature of the compound. Cyclic nature of a compound. And if the compound is the cyclic nature, you have to use as a primary prefix as a cyclo. What about the secondary prefix? Secondary prefix it gives idea regarding the substituent group. So whatever the secondary prefix is there, these secondary prefix it gives idea regarding the substituent group. And depending upon the presence of substituent group, you have to write down the secondary prefix. For example, if the secondary prefix like substituent group, if the fluorine is there, then you can use the fluoro. If the Cl is there, then you can use the chloro. If it is having a Br and the bromine, you can use as a bromo. If it is having iodine, you can use as a iodo. If it is having a N2 group, then you can use as a diazo. Suppose if it is having a NO2 group, then you can use as a nitro. If it is having a CH3 group, you can use as a methyl. So these are the substituent groups. If it is present, you can use as a likewise as a secondary prefix. Means it is clear that. So whatever the secondary prefix is there, this secondary prefix it gives idea regarding the substituent group. Next part, that is the suffix. Suffix is added after the root word. Suffix is added after the root word. Suffix also classified in two types. One is the primary suffix and second one secondary suffix. Primary suffix and secondary suffix. Then what is the role of the primary suffix in the IUPAC system? Primary suffix, it gives idea regarding the nature of the compound. It gives idea regarding the nature of compound. Means what? Nature means whether the compound, if it is having a carbon-carbon single bond, or if the compound having a carbon-carbon double bond, or if the compound having carbon-carbon triple bond, that nature it tells primary suffix. Means if the compound having carbon-carbon single bond, then primary suffix one can use as ANE. Means always name end with the ANE. If the compound having carbon-carbon double bond, then primary suffix it is used as a ENE. And if the compound having carbon-carbon triple bond, then primary suffix it is used as a YN. So we should know that what is the saturated compound and unsaturated compound. Saturated compounds are those compounds where compound contain only carbon-carbon single bond, and those compound contain carbon-carbon double bond or triple bond or multiple bond. They are called as a unsaturated hydrocarbon or unsaturated compound. So here this is called saturated and both it is called unsaturated. So what is the role of the primary suffix? Primary suffix it gives idea regarding the nature of the compound. If the compound having carbon-carbon single bond, you can use as ANE. If the compound having carbon-carbon double bond, you can use as a ENE. And if the compound having carbon-carbon triple bond, then always end with a YNE. So sometimes I can call methane, ethane, propane. So based on the name, one can guess that yes, that particular compound having only carbon-carbon single bond. If the compound having carbon-carbon double bond, always end with a ENE. For example, ethene, propene, butene, pentene, hexene. So when name end with the ENE, at that time it tells that that particular compound is having carbon-carbon double bond, or ethyne, propyne, or butane, pentine. So this indicates that the particular compound it shows or it will have carbon-carbon triple bond. I'll come to the point right of the secondary suffix. What is the role of the secondary suffix in the IUPAC nomenclature? Secondary suffix it gives information regarding the functional group. Means functional group information. Functional group information will get from the secondary suffix. Now what do you mean by functional group? As you know that definition, atom or group of atom which determines the properties of organic compound are called functional group. You know that number of functional group like OH, like a CHO, like a CO, like a COH, like a NH2. So you will get list of the functional group, and depending upon the functional group you have to write on the suffix, secondary suffix. For example, if the compound having only the OH as a functional group, the name always ends with the OL. Suppose the compound having the CHO group, this is the alcoholic functional group, this is the aldehyde functional group. If the compound having CHO as a functional group, that is aldehyde, name always ends with the AL. If the compound having a ketonic group, ketone, then always name ends with the ONE. If the compound having COH, that is the acid, carboxylic acid, then name always ends with the OIC acid. If the compound having the ester group, COOR, R may be alkyl group or R may be aryl group. This is ester group. The name always ends with the OATOA. If the compound having NH2 group, that is the amine functional group, name always ends with the amine. So likewise, you can write the secondary suffix depending upon the presence of functional group. Now how to write down the correct IUPAC name? If you want to write the correct IUPAC name, the formula is there. Which is the formula? Primary prefix plus secondary prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. You will get the correct IUPAC name. Means whatever the information is there, maybe primary prefix, secondary prefix, primary suffix, secondary suffix, and that information if you feed in the formula, you will get correct IUPAC name. Apart from this primary and secondary prefix, also you will get the three different prefixes, that is called prefix normal, prefix neo, and prefix iso. So we are going to discuss when you can use as prefix n, prefix iso, and prefix neo. Right here, prefix then that stands for normal prefix. Second is there prefix iso, and third one prefix neo. So when you can use these prefixes, if compound containing all the carbon atom in a straight chain manner, in an open chain manner, at that time you can use as a prefix is a n. For example, I can call n propane, n pentane, n hexane, n heptane. So at that time it indicates that n indicates normal. In that particular compound or formula, all the carbon atoms are bonded in a open chain manner. That is called prefix n. And such time or at that time you can use as a prefix n. When you are going to use prefix iso, it can be used when one methyl group is attached in the formula second last carbon atom, that is called prefix iso. For example, I write here, this is one of the chains there, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I consider this is the second last carbon atom, and in the second last carbon atom if it is having one methyl group, at that time you can use as a word iso. When you want to use the prefix neo, if the compound having a straight chain, but second last carbon atom if it is having a 2 methyl group, then you can use as the prefix neo. Prefix normal it can be used when the compound having all the carbon atoms bonded in the straight chain manner. Prefix neo iso it is used when one methyl group is attached to the second last carbon atom of the chain. At that time you can use the prefix iso, and prefix neo it is used when 2 methyl group is attached to the second last carbon atom on the carbon chain. But remember, by writing the IUPAC name, you have to count all the carbon atoms present on the system. All the carbon present on the system. So let's discuss two examples. I'll write the first example, CH3, single bond, CH2, single bond, CH2, single bond, CH2, single bond, CH3. This is one of the examples is CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. And I want to write the IUPAC name. You know, IUPAC name it can be written based on the related to their structure. If you want to write IUPAC name for this compound, you should have the information from root word, suffix and prefix. You know, primary prefix is there, secondary prefix is there, primary suffix is there, and secondary suffix is there. And if you want to write down that, you should know the formula. Which formula? Primary prefix plus secondary prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. By using the formula, let's solve this example. First of all, I will write the formula. What is the formula? Is there primary prefix plus secondary prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. You remember this formula to get the correct IUPAC name. Just only I am going to feed the information based on their structure. I'll come to the point right on the primary prefix. What is primary prefix? Primary prefix, it gives information regarding the cyclic compound, cyclic nature. Is it compound cyclic nature? No. So I will put here dash. I'll come to the point secondary prefix. What is the role of the secondary prefix? Secondary prefix, it gives information regarding the substituent group. When you have to call substituent group, suppose this is the chain is there, and on that chain any another atom or group is bonded, or you can consider branch. That branch itself it is considered as a substituent group. Is there any another atom? Is there any another atom? No. So here also I will put as a dash plus root word. How many number of carbon atoms present in the system? Here I will number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 atoms. Due to presence of 5 carbon atoms, the root word I will write as a pent. Pent plus primary suffix. What is the role of primary suffix? Primary suffix, it gives idea regarding the nature of the compound. Yes, look towards this example. In the compound having only carbon-carbon single bond. So due to presence of carbon-carbon single bond, the name always ends with the A and E. I write here A and E. I'll come to the secondary suffix. In this particular example, is there any functional group like OH, like CHO, like COH, like CO, like NH2, like NO2? Is there? No. Means I will put here dash. And just only you have to add it pent plus A and E, that is the pentane. This is the correct IUPAC name. By using the prefix normal, you can write N-pentane. N-pentane. One more example I will going to discuss. Very simple is there, but just only you have to remember the role of all these three terms. I will write here CH3, CH2, and CH2. Simple example is there. I will go to so on. Remember the formula. Again the formula. What is the formula is there? Primary prefix plus secondary prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. I write the formula. Primary prefix. Is there any compound having a cyclic nature? No. I will put here dash. Secondary prefix. Is there any functional? Is there any substituent group? No. I will put here dash. I'll come to the point at the root word. How many carbon atoms present in the system? Calculate. 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon atoms is there. So that's why I write in the probe. Plus primary suffix. What is the role of primary suffix? Nature of the compound. Compound having carbon-carbon single bond. So that's why I will write A and E. Next, secondary suffix. Is there any functional group? Yes. There is having a functional group. Which is the functional group is there? OH. Alcoholic functional group is there. And due to presence of OH as a functional group, the name always ends with a OL. Finish. Add it. By adding, I get the name. Pro plus A plus OL. I write here the name propanol. Remember, name always ends with the OL. That indicates that the compound having a OH group. More correct IUPAC name will be by learning the rules. You have to give the minimum number to that functional group. So that we will going to discuss in the next class. Thank you.